Good evening to you. I am Ryan Broom with the Wednesday, October 25th edition of the CBC Evening News. In our top story, government has been revealing the details about the state funeral for former Governor General Sir Clifford Husbands. Labour Minister Senator Dr. Esther Bayasuku is coordinating the planning. Lisa Broom has the details.
A stately and dignified affair. That's what the family of former Governor General Sir Clifford Husbands has requested, and government says that is what they will have when Sir Clifford is laid to rest here at the St. Lucie Parish Church next Friday, November 3rd.
About 500 people are expected inside the St. Lucie Parish Church for the state funeral that's expected to last just over an hour. Senator Bayasuku says seating in the church will be reserved for Sir Clifford's family, close friends and other dignitaries, including St. Vincent's Governor General Sir Frederick Ballantyne, and will be by ticket only.
However, Sir Clifford was a man who served the people, and arrangements are being made for members of the general public who would wish to come and bid their final farewell to Sir Clifford. We are making arrangements. Of course, you know the church is not a massive church, and we are arranging for tents on the outside as well.
A procession escorted by outriders from the Royal Barbados Police Force will leave the Lyndhurst Funeral Home around 7:45 a.m. and make its way north. Once there, priest in charge Reverend Canon Siebert Small will conduct a traditional Anglican service as requested by the former Governor General's family.
We would be asking the public also not to be intrusive as they gather, as they take their photographs on the morning also. I know sometimes folks can get carried away with their cell phones, and I've seen it at funerals too, but of course the family would like that. Even though he belonged to the people when he served as Governor General, this is also a difficult time for the family, and we would want to respect their wishes that this be a stately and dignified affair as well.
Reverend Canon Noel Burke will deliver the sermon, and there will be tributes from Brian Clark, QC, as well as a solo by Amanda Fields, accompanied by the police force band. Senator Bayasuku says there will be no viewing of the body, but condolence books will be available for signing from November 1st, when the 3 official days of mourning begin. Books will be opened at the Supreme Court, Sir Clifford's alma mater, Harrison College, and at the church on the day of the funeral. Flags will also be flown at half-mast. Incidentally, we visited the St. Lucie Church this morning and found that workmen had already started preparing Sir Clifford's grave. He will be buried next to his wife, Ruby Lady Husbands, who died in 2009. People who wish to attend should make their own arrangements, but the funeral will be carried live on CBC TV 8 as well as radio stations of the CBC. Sir Clifford was appointed as Barbados' 6th Governor General in 1996 and served until his retirement on October 31st, 2011. He passed away on October 11th at the age of 91. Lisa Broom, CBC News.
Thanks, Lisa. Well, the Sagicor lighting ceremony, which usually kickstarts independence celebrations on November 1st, will this year have to wait until November 6th. It's because of the 3 days of mourning for the late Governor General Sir Clifford Husbands. Word of this from Culture Minister Stephen Lashley, who says this year the highly anticipated celebrations will have to wait.
We felt that in deference to that period, we should move the lighting ceremony to the 6th of November. So it will be held on the 6th of November in the same location, of course, National Hero Square.
He says despite the setback, efforts are underway to make this year's celebrations memorable. In fact, Minister Lashley says Barbadians can expect this year's celebrations to keep pace with last year when Barbados celebrated its 50th year.
Certainly won't be anticlimactic, and that is why we have always had a structured program in place for the celebration of independence, and we would have started this, of course, early in the year. The Community Independence Celebration Secretariat, along with the independence, the community independence committees in the various parts of Barbados, they have some very structured programs. The importance of celebrating independence is that it has to be rooted in the communities, and that continues.
If the NSRL proves to be successful, some of the money generated should go towards the sustainable funding of tertiary education. Independent Senator Alwyn Adams believes that a new fund should be set up to replace the current loan scheme.
I know that there is already a student revolving fund, but again, there are very few people that would agree that that fund is working well. And it would be akin, as my grandmother would say, of throwing good money after bad. And since you have your hands in the lion's mouth, you might as well try and get it out.
During the second reading of the National Social Responsibility Amendment Bill 2017, Mr. Adams stressed the importance of professionalism in the operation of such a fund.
Once the fund is set up, properly capitalized, it should have a well-qualified director and a competent staff, including accountants. And they should be able to administer the fund in a very professional manner. To make sure that, having seen the experience of the former fund running into arrears of $20 and $30 million, I understand that this particular system about which I'm speaking would not fall into that category.
An independent senator, Professor Sir Henry Fraser, has offered a proposal to finance healthcare. It involves a levy, one he says that is unlike the NSRL. He told the Senate his idea could eventually replace the NSRL.
Because the poor are experiencing major hardship. It is, to me, Madam President, it is a no-brainer that a health levy as a percentage of taxable income is the appropriate way of allowing you and me, Senator Ince, and everyone who earns a reasonable income from the middle class to the frightfully wealthy.
The honourable member has 4 more minutes.
And I only need 1 minute, Madam President. It does not take a lot of PhDs or MBAs or master's degrees in order to see that this is a democratic approach to taxation.
Professor Fraser sees a sin tax as another means of securing funding.
We can certainly increase taxes on alcohol, because we know that a little alcohol will do your blood vessels good, but too much does everybody harm. We can look at the sin tax on cigarettes, which has been extremely successful in many countries. And in fact, in Barbados, we know that we virtually eliminated lung cancer because we virtually eliminated cigarette smoking. Barbados holds the record, because of the outstanding work of Dr. Tony Gale, the record for the country with the lowest smoking prevalence across the entire world.
In other news, the Pan American Health Organization's contribution to healthcare in Barbados is being described as transformative. This year, they're celebrating a relationship with the island spanning 50 years. But according to the organization's director, there's an urgent need to add a new focus to the discussion on health. Kareem Smith reports.
The impact of Hurricanes Maria and Irma on the region has prompted the Pan American Health Organization to tackle the issue of climate change head-on. Dr. Carissa Etienne, the organization's director, who is also a native of hurricane-ravaged Dominica, believes the time to act is now.
This year's hurricane season was, I hate to say it, a preview of things to come, as stronger and more frequent weather events will become the norm rather than the exception. We must therefore accelerate our efforts to mitigate climate change.
With predictions of more intense weather on the horizon, she says PAHO has authorized the creation and funding of 2 new positions in the area of climate change. One of them will be stationed right here in Barbados for the Caribbean's benefit. Her statements come amid the organization's celebrations marking its 50th year as a major contributor to the local and regional healthcare agenda. In fact, Acting Minister of Health Donville Innes says PAHO's contribution as an international body to the development of local healthcare is second to none.
A lot of the challenges that we faced back in the late 60s and early 70s have perhaps either been eliminated or now better managed. But, ladies and gentlemen, it's a very dynamic field, the field of public health, and we never know what is sitting on the horizon. And if I had to point to as a glaring example of sustainability in healthcare, is the fact that PAHO has been able to well equip us in terms of the training of our staff, provision of support services, that we're able now to better prepare ourselves for whatever may come our way.
At this stage, he says there's no room for complacency in tackling healthcare issues and says the country's relationship with PAHO remains central to the fight. Kareem Smith, CBC News.
Thanks, Kareem. Well, some sad news now. A well-known funeral director has died. Sinclair Harper, owner of Paramount Funeral Home and Taxi Service, passed away at his home on Tuesday night. Administrator Antoinette Belgrave Blunt says the 96-year-old's health started to fail in the last 4 months. She says even though he gave up day-to-day running of the business in 2011, Mr. Harper could still be counted on to give sound input. Ms. Belgrave Blunt says Mr. Harper will be remembered as one of the best-dressed funeral directors. His punctuality, deportment, and all the traditional morals and values for which he stood. Mr. Harper is survived by his 97-year-old wife, Elsie, and his children, Hazel, Caswell, Leon, and Joan. Well, we take a pause here, but we'll have more news after the break.
It started with my love for making things. That became a business. And when I wanted to expand, I chose a partner that could help me build on my vision. A partner that made growing my business easier with fewer steps. That's banking that starts with me.
It starts with you. Scotiabank.
Hi, we are Rum & Co. And we want you to know that all of us play a part in tourism.
I am tourism.
I am tourism.
I am tourism.
I am tourism.
Tourism is our business. Let's all play a part. A message from the Barbados Tourism Product Authority.
Moving forward together.
Do you want audience numbers? Over 140,000 people are watching Morning Barbados and the evening news. 6 out of 10 top radio personalities are found right here at the CBC. CBC delivers the audience you need.
Bye, Dad.
Tell me the names of the bombers.
I work for the government, not terrorists.
Lie. You used to work for them. He's trained. Levy Special Forces. Tell me who killed my child.
You have no idea who you're dealing with.
Do you?
Somebody say a prayer for
The Foreigner.
Second big week. Olympus Cinemas.
Welcome back. Well, more Barbadians are interested in studying in Canada. This trend is evident as hundreds of people flock to the annual Canadian Educational Fair held at the Lloyd Erskine Sandyford Centre. Rianne Phillips tells us more.
Obtaining a degree from an overseas university or college is a dream for many students, but for some, choosing the correct institution that matches their needs can be challenging. But this Canadian Educational Fair at the Lloyd Erskine Sandyford Centre has been making that process much easier. Over 20 institutions were present thanks to the High Commission of Canada in Barbados.
What we do is invite Canadian institutions to come down to speak to students and their parents about the opportunity to not only study in Canada, but work and, in fact, earn some money on the side if they're able to incorporate that into their study program.
The event, which was organized by the Student Centre, has grown significantly since it started back in 2012. And the Centre's Director of Communications, Kimberly Allen Pender, is pleased with that trend.
We started in a small room here at Sherburne with just about 80 persons coming through. Right now, we have reached the halfway mark of our day and we're over 300 persons. That's a lot, and we have serious students coming in. So it's not just a matter of students walking through and saying, I want to study maths, or I want to do literatures in English. Is that, okay, this is what I want to do. Point me to the school that will help me achieve my goal.
Many students and parents who attended were happy they could gather information and have their queries answered easily.
I think it's very informative and is
Very good. It was good for me to come and find out more about the whole college experience, and I learned a lot, and so far I've been looking at a few that have piqued my interest.
Well, I have a younger brother who is a sixth farmer at Commonwealth School, and he could not attend the first day, so I just came to see how much information I could find. And I also have a son at St. Michael's School.
It is good because you get lots of options, you look at lots of opportunities, so there's a lot that you can choose from and to make a decision.
And the universities have praised the students for their keen interest.
A lot of students are interested in IT and forensic science, a lot of architecture as well, but it's been a good turnout today. Students are prepared, they've been looking at our websites, they know what we want, and they have really good grades so far.
The Student Center plans to continue extending the fair to other Caribbean countries. Presently, it is only offered in St. Lucia and Guyana. Rihanna Phillips, CBC News.
Thanks, Rianne. Well, there is a huge push for the promotion of literacy in 6 of the island's primary schools. Scotiabank has embarked on a brand new I Read for Fun literacy project and kicked it off at St. Luke's Brighton's Literacy Day today. CBC's Shane Jones was at the school for the launch.
Around 50 lucky juniors and infants got a very special treat when Scotiabank brought in Mr. Blood, Adrian Green, and Nikita to read to them. The session was fun and educational, and the students were extremely receptive. After the personalities read to the students, there was a question and answer segment where prizes were awarded. Scotiabank's marketing manager, Keisha Humphrey-Mears, told the children how the project was conceptualized.
We also care about the community, and we also care what happens to you when you're at school. So we decided we want to help a little bit more. We want to start a library project. And we were like, how do we start? What do we do? So we partnered with some people. They're called Hands Across the Sea. And with them, we get brand new books to give to you. And not just you, but other schools. We partnered with Gordon Walters Primary, St. Philip's Primary, Bailey's Primary, St. Matthew's Primary. Is that a lot? Is that a lot of schools? Good. And we gave 300 books to each of these schools.
Mrs. Humphrey-Mears highlighted the benefits of reading.
It opens up your imagination. What can you imagine when you read? Anything that you can imagine, anything that you can dream up can happen when you open a book. So I actually want y'all to use the books really well. Read as much as you can. Don't just read when you're at school.
Principal Beverly Piggott said the program came in the nick of time.
We are a small school and we're having some challenges with our reading. So when I was approached about the donation of books and about the launch of the library, I readily accepted and we started to work with it, right? As I realized that reading is an integral part of the teaching and learning system. We need to read. When we cannot read, it poses lots of challenges for the children. Here at the school, we have a reading program going, and that is done by Miss Meldine Curtin, and she's doing a great job.
Scotiabank has already donated 1,800 books to the 6 schools in the program. Shane Jones, CBC News.
Thanks, Shane. Well, Barbadian nurses, doctors, and patients are among thousands of people who have benefited from the Sick Kids Caribbean initiative in the past 5 years. That initiative has been made possible thanks to a partnership the Sandals Foundation has with the Canadian Healthcare Foundation. Chief Executive Officer of the Sick Kids Foundation, Ted Gerard, made the disclosure last evening at a cocktail reception.
We've had outfitted 7 different sites now with telemedicine capabilities where we're able to do case consultations between local countries and sick kids. And we've had over 259 case consultations over the period of time, including 31 from here in Barbados. Phenomenal. We have trained 26 nurses from across the Caribbean in pediatric hematology and oncology through the University of the West Indies, including 3 nurses from Barbados.
And in another 2 days, the Sick Kids Foundation will be launching a $1 billion fundraiser, and Mr. Gerard is optimistic it will be successful.
This is a massive undertaking, and I can give you all a little insight that we'll be able to announce that the campaign will be launched with $570 million Canadian already committed, which is truly outstanding, and more than 110 supporters who have agreed to give commitments of $1 million or more. And that includes Sandals. And we are extremely grateful that Sandals is amongst those 110 early supporters who have stepped up and said, yes, we want to be part of this phenomenal campaign.
As Barbados moves ahead in developing a renewable energy sector, the Barbados Renewable Energy Association wants to see greater attention paid to insurance, given the importance of the growing industry. Executive Director Misha Clark says it's an important area of focus in the national discussion surrounding disaster management.
The renewable energy sector has been identified as a potential growth area for social and economic development within our drive towards 100% renewables, and it has an important role to play in reducing the country's overall dependence on fossil fuels and hence its level of CO2 emissions. If the renewable energy sector is to play a critical role in the economic repositioning of small island developing states like Barbados and spearhead mitigation strategies to reduce our country's level of carbon emissions and enhance efficiency towards more sustainable development practices, it is important that in the context of disaster risk management, we begin to focus our discussions on how disaster risk management strategies like that of insurance can begin to foster a greater level of resilience and sustainability.
Well, still to come, a look at some of the stories making headlines across the region.
Upgrade to Digicel's Quick Pick Bundles. Save big on data. Get data and get unlimited WhatsApp messaging and Digicel talk. Pick a 1-day bundle, a 7-day bundle, or for the best value, a 30-day bundle. Save money every single day. Pick the bundle that's right for you. Go to My Digicel app or dial *246 to buy a Quick Pick bundle today. Digicel.
If you've been living in pain and you're tired of trying products that just don't work, you are not alone. Try Omega XL. This natural anti-inflammatory is effective at relieving pain and the symptoms of inflammation. Omega XL is the all-natural anti-inflammatory that has more available omega-3s than regular fish oil. Experience results you can feel. Now available in Jamaica. Visit your local pharmacy or health food store today. Start putting an end to your pain with Omega XL.
In St. Lucia, Minister for Home Affairs and National Security, Senator Hermingill Francis, has reaffirmed government's commitment to improving working conditions for firemen and other uniformed officers serving the state. He did this after touring the Soufriere Fire Service, which underwent major refurbishments.
The minister, who toured the Soufriere Fire Station on Friday, October 20th, 2017, interacted with station heads and officers in order to gauge their satisfaction with the project. The delegation was led by the acting chief fire officer, Mr. Joseph, and comprised senior officials from the Ministry of Home Affairs, Justice and National Security, and invited guests. Minister Francis says he was aware of the deplorable conditions at the Soufriere Fire Station and did all he could to ensure the station's plight was addressed in a timely manner. He also commended government for moving expeditiously to secure funding for the much-needed renovation project.
So we got into office and I was given the portfolio. My first visits were to some police stations, and so I visited the fire station in Castries, and then we came to Soufriere because we realized that Soufriere was in a deplorable situation. I knew about the situation in Soufriere because I've spent quite a long time in Soufriere. So I knew what was happening in Soufriere. And when I came here, it was really, really, really bad. I met with the Welfare Association and promised them that although we had not budgeted for renovations to the existing facility, it was so bad that we would have to find the money. And I went to the Prime Minister, and the Prime Minister willingly got some money so that was able to give to the department.
Trinidad and Tobago's main opposition, United National Congress, says it will meet to discuss a letter of complaint from opposition legislator Ganga Singh. Singh is claiming that the national executive acted outside of the party's constitution when it announced plans to hold early elections for the post of political leader. UNC and opposition leader Kamla Prasad Bisesar, who has indicated that she is seeking an early vote of confidence from party supporters 1 year ahead of the scheduled date for the election of the party leader, has dismissed Singh's concerns. In a statement last week, the UNC said that Prasad Bisesar had taken the decision to seek a fresh mandate from the party members as the party prepares for a general election that is not due until 2020. And the minority opposition Democratic National Alliance in Antigua is questioning the haste in which Prime Minister Gaston Brown removed his investment and tourism minister Assot Michael from his cabinet following his detention in Britain on Monday. In a statement, the DNA said that while, like the rest of the country, it will follow this unprecedented development with keen interest, it has taken note of the rapid move by the Prime Minister to revoke the appointment. The DNA said that the detention of Michael at the Gatwick Airport on Monday is another blow to the reputation of Antigua and Barbuda. In a statement yesterday, Michael said it was unfortunate that Prime Minister Brown did not contact him before relieving him of his portfolio after he was detained in London on Monday. And in Guyana, police are searching for an elusive man who could be charged for attempted murder. More now in this Travis Chase story.
Crime sleuths in the police CNA division say they're still looking for the man who had allegedly doused his common-law wife with what appeared to be acid. The lawmen say they have positively ID'd him and have an arrest warrant. They just need to find him, but one source told Nightly News that the man goes by the nickname Flash Gordon. In the meantime, the victim, Laver Newton, spoke with reporters after she'd had enough of the 25 years of abuse. She said she'd given her abuser several chances and is now advising women not to do the same.
Please, second chance is like giving a man a bullet, an extra bullet to kill them.
Well, sports is next, but first a tip from Cooperators General Insurance.
This tip of the day is brought to you by Cooperators General Insurance Company Limited. Insurance the way you want it to be.
A lumpectomy is a surgery to remove a tumor and a small amount of nearby normal tissue. This tip is brought to you in association with the Barbados Cancer Society Breast Screening Program, celebrating its 15th anniversary.